In this video, we want to show you the incredible power of the compound interest effect and how it can help you with building up your fortune. Hello YouTube, my name is Till and this is the channel where you learn how to build up a fortune with smart investment and that helps you with analyses and strategies on financials, real estate and how to increase your money. When you're new here, click on the subscribe button and ring the little bell so that you don't miss any new episodes. The links to this video and the disclaimer you will find in the box under this video. In this video, we'll show you what the compound interest effect is, which tremendous impact it can have for the build-up of a fortune and how you can use it for yourself. So let's jump right into it.
Now, then, and how it hit me.
When I was a kid of maybe 7 or 8 years, I earned my first money by helping my parents a little bit in the garden. At that time, we still had the German Mark as currency, Deutsche Mark. My parents explained all the different things I could do with the money. At that time, I had definitely already heard the term of a bank, but I didn't know much about what they actually did. What I still remember until today is the talk to my parents where they told me that I would get money for bringing the money to the bank and leaving it there. I couldn't hardly believe it. The banks wouldn't just keep the money for me in a safe place where it is protected from thieves and other bad people, but they would even pay me for that. This was a very impressive revelation for me. Today, a lot has changed. You don't receive any interest from banks anymore. Sometimes you even have to pay them money, the so-called negative interest. What I couldn't grasp even a little bit at that time, even if somebody would have tried to explain it to me, was the superpower of the compound interest effect. I learned about that a few years later, when I was about 10 or 11 years old. But the magnitude of the effect over many years I didn't capture even closely. What is the compound interest effect and how does it work? You probably heard of the famous story with the chessboard and the rice grains, where an Indian king offered a pilgrim anything if he would win a game of chess against him. The pilgrim answered in a seemingly modest way and just asked for a grain of rice on the first square of the chessboard, 2 on the second and doubling it on each square, if he would win. Of course, the king lost and later realized that it was impossible to pay his debt, as this would have meant to pay more than 200 billion tons of rice. Mathematically speaking, the compound interest effect is an exponential function, just like the reward in the rice chess story. To put it simply, this means that an invested amount of money is not growing evenly, but will grow disproportionately with every step. This little figure here is going to influence the growth of your fortune drastically over time, if you do it right. But don't worry. I'm not going to do a mathematical deep dive here, and I will also not explain this formula further. For all of you who are interested a bit more in the effects, I built a little Excel spreadsheet that you can download for free on my webpage. The link is shown in the description box below the video, or I show it somewhere here. With the tool, you can try out for yourself what happens over time when you adjust the factors of the amount of money at the start and the interest rate. I personally made the experience that even people who already know about the exponential functions and the compound interest are usually surprised on how dramatically it influences the investment success and what is actually achievable. Therefore, just play around a bit with the tool and see for yourself what happens over time. Examples.
What would you have if your grandfather invested $1,000 for you 60 years ago? Let's have a look. We type in here in the spreadsheet 7% as interest rate, and we type in $1,000 in the year 1961, that's 60 years ago. You see that we have an incredible return to $58,000 after 60 years. That's unbelievable. The compound interest effect is working over time significantly, but when you just look at the first 10 years, you will see that the increase isn't that significant. So we just have a doubling of the $1,000 from the year 0 to the year 10. Over time, and that's what you see in this graph here, over time this increases significantly. In the first 25 years, it increases from $1,000 to $5,000. And afterwards, this effect is really working and increases the money up to $58,000 in the year 60. Let's see what would have happened if Abraham Lincoln invested $1,000 in you 200 years ago. So 200 years ago was the year 1821. We again take the 7% interest rate and the $1,000. You see that we have, after 200 years, an increase of the $1,000 to $752 million. By the way, that's a one-time investment, not a regular yearly, annual, monthly investment. Another example, let's have a look what would have happened if Jesus had invested $1,000 in you 2,000 years ago. We take again the 7% interest rate. I already prepared the year 21, that's 2,000 years ago, and we type in $1,000. You see this incredibly high number here. That's 58 novemdecillion. I had to look it up. That's a 58 with 60 zeros behind that.
The compound interest effect can also work against you. When you're in debt, it is becoming more and more difficult to reduce the debt, as it will become bigger and bigger over time. The misperception working against us. As you can see in the examples, it is especially time that lets the compound interest work in such an enormous way, apart from the rate of capital return, of course. Humans usually tend to think more in the short term. Our mind isn't really set up in a way to think about the long term. The famous scientist and psychologist Walter Mischel once studied this effect in the famous marshmallow experiment. You probably heard of this. Kids are put in a room where there is one marshmallow placed on a table. They are promised to get 2 marshmallows when they don't eat the one. Most of the kids don't make it and eat the 1 marshmallow. So what we can learn from that, our mind tends to prefer instant gratification over higher long-term benefits. When we can achieve it to break this inner programming and extend our personal horizon to more long-term investments, we will be able to achieve enormous fortunes with the help of the compound interest effect. When you liked the video and when you want to know more about how to invest like a pro and how you can build up a wonderful fortune, click on the subscribe button and ring the little bell to get informed immediately about new videos. Let me know if you already made your first experiences with the compound interest effect. You can leave your comments and opinions in the comment section below this video. The links to this video you'll find, like always, in the description box below this video. Further videos on how you become a better investor and build up sustainably a fortune you find in the links here on the left or on my channel. I wish you a lot of success with your investment activities and see you in the next video.